So we're using PHP to teach you OOP, but perfectly everything I'm teaching here works for any other language. So if you're coming from a JavaScript background or any other background, don't worry, this course will teach you. The concepts being introduced in this course is useful and usable in all your other backgrounds. So I'll focus on the concept itself instead of just the programming language actually, alright? So I've opened my index.php, this file. Let's write our first PHP code. I will just I'm trying to increase my font size. Let's write our first OOP code. So I'll do this PHP. That's how you start a PHP file. I'm trying to increase the font size. Yeah, I believe we're good now. So PHP, and I want you to observe that I'm not putting the closing PHP tag. We don't need it, and you almost never need it in any PHP code you're writing. So in OOP, you just write class. You have to define a class. In any language you're using, you have to find out the way they define their classes. In PHP, you have to write the keyword class first, then you have to mention the class. You understand? So let's say the class is books. So we're trying to write an OOP about books. You understand? So this basically solves most of our problems. We are going to have to define the member variables here. So we can say define member variables. Like I told you, most of these things will be new to you, and but eventually if you figure them out, it will be easy to understand. So we define member functions here. So the first thing we want to know, I'm using books because it's a very popular example that is usually used in OOP tutorial. So a class is a programmer-defined data type which includes local functions as well as local data. You can think of a class as a template for making many instances of the same kind of object. Okay, so let me explain it in layman's English. How many of you have seen a production line, for instance, where they're making Tesla cars, you understand, or some of those Toyota cars? You see that there is a long chain, like there's a long rail, like a railway, where the cars are manufactured. So and then the railway is divided into segments or rooms. So in one room, some people are going to add the tires, and then they'll move the car to the next, they'll push the car to roll to the next room, where some people are going to add the windscreen, then to the next stage where some people are going to, or some robot hands are going to spray it, you understand? Then they move it to the next place where some robots are going to add the seats, and it keeps going that way until it gets to the end of the production line. At the end, it's a complete car. Somebody just drives it away, you understand? So that is basically what a class is. If you look at that production line, you see that that production line contains a formula for making a car. You understand? That production line is a class that makes a car. Do you understand? We can call that full production line a class. So now the car it produces can be called objects. Do you get the concept? So a car is an instance of that production line. So which means one production line can produce many different types of cars. You just need to change the color of the paint, or you change the size of the tire, or you change the color of the windscreen, and the car changes. You get what I'm saying? You understand? Or you change the logo on the car. It changes the car. So but the production line itself doesn't need to change. It stays the same because all cars look alike. 4 tires, windscreen, how many glasses, you understand, 1 steering wheel, 6 pairs of seat or whatever, you understand, most cars look alike. So a class for producing cars stays the same, but each instance of that car is called an object. So whenever anybody asks you about object in OOP, it should be easy for you to remember and explain. All right, so that is just the layman's explanation, which means the actual details might differ a little, but that's just what it means. So let's go and write a class about books. You understand? At the end of the day, we'll use that class to produce different types of books. We'll produce physics books, chemistry books, and so on. You get what I'm saying? So let's go in, and in the next course, in the next video, we'll start producing books with that class.